everybody, it's me, Jill, and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of New York City, Season 10, Episode 18, There's No Place Like Home. And we start off with Ramona showing Dorinda the new remodel of her home in the Hamptons. Okay, they're showing before and after pictures, and it's gorgeous and stunning, but is it just me? It's like not that different. And the kitchen's maybe worse. I don't know. I'll show you guys the before and after of the kitchen and you let me know what you think, but maybe she just still needs time to put her decorative touches. It seemed very cold and industrial looking. Ramona said, I have to say, this is one of the best feelings in the world other than giving birth to my daughter. First of all, giving birth, done it, not a great feeling. Sorry. Love my daughter, but, and secondly, if really, this is right up there with the birth of your daughter? Oh, so now Luann and Sonja show up. All right, so then Ramona's saying how proud, I'm just so proud of myself. I did it all myself. And then when Luann gets there and she's like, oh, so this is great. Did you go to so-and-so for the floors or what? And Ramona goes, I did it all online. And Luann goes, oh, so it was all online. Okay. Luann is the worst. She's like, this is the reveal? I mean, there's not a flower in the house, not a chia pet. This is the reveal? Revealing. I mean, she's not wrong. This place looks like it needs staging, but you know, she's proud of all that, like, online shopping she did. Okay, now they're talking about Cartagena, and Luann said, well, the diarrhea, it started again today. And Sonja said, hey, did you guys get the memo? Carole and I had our first solid bowel movement today. That's great. You know, side note, if we never talk about the women's bodily functions again, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to get away from it, apparently, because now at Carole's apartment, Tinsley comes over and the two of them are talking about it. Tinsley is having a delayed reaction and now she has diarrhea. And now back at the house in the Hamptons, Dorinda said, yeah, I finally wanted to go out for a walk in my building and I push the elevator button. I get down to the bottom floor and then it's like, I'm sweating and I'm like, no, 20, like she had to get back up to the bathroom again. Sonja says, why do you do that to yourself? Just wear the diapers. Yes. And then we get to see a picture of Sonja apparently on the plane ride home wearing a diaper sticking out of her jeans. Yeah, good look, real good look. But the other thing is, what? Is that comfortable? You just want to poop in your pants? Okay. Please, I hope we're done talking about it now. Please. Oh my God. Apparently, that's a regular thing for Sonja. She wears a diaper whenever she doesn't want to have to run to like a public restroom. She said, you know, like if you're taking the jitney to the Hamptons, you don't want to have to use the lavatory. And I won't use the lavatory on a jitney. So, you know, you have the diaper, you don't have to worry about that. You don't know what's going on. What? Yes, you do. People can still smell it. Don't you think the people behind her are going, somebody needs to be changed? Both groups of ladies are kind of going over the boat trip again. And at Carole's apartment, Tinsley's saying, you know, I feel so bad, but like, I just didn't think it was that bad. And it was my instinct to be telling people, come on, it's fine. You're going to be fine. I didn't have the same experience that everybody else did. And Carole's like, well, come on. I mean, when the boat's tipping like this and I could smell smoke, that could have ended very differently. To the confession cam, Carole said, I don't even know what to say to Tinsley. It's like she was on a different boat. I don't know what Carole's doing now, but Carole is trying to tell Tinsley that she thinks that Tinsley was almost kind of in shock. And she said, I mean, you were in abusive relationships, and I think your go-to reaction is to just say, oh, it's fine, everything's fine. And Tinsley just like, her face changed. We see this close-up of like her wringing her hands, and yeah, it was a bold place for Carole to go, let me just say. Tinsley starts crying, I'm taking this personally. And Carole's like, don't take it personally. I just think it was like, that was an abusive relationship reaction that you had. Like, everything's fine. I can't help it. I take it personally. Okay. Please, somebody, like, take me away from this conversation about poop. It's too much, Bravo. Okay, finally, we're changing the subject. Ramona is having her skincare party. It's a little sneak preview of her new skincare line, True Renewal. No, not True. No. That was her last skincare line. This is called, what's it called? It's super boring. I remember thinking that PK probably named it. It's like New Beginnings or something. I don't know. Oh, we're not done talking about poop. No, not by a long shot. Now we're at Sonja's townhouse, and she's still trying to sell it, or rent it. She's trying to rent it out. And someone's coming to look at it, and she is just inundated with dog poop. It was snowing, and so now that the snow is melted, the poop's everywhere, and she's got to keep on top of it, and that she wants the realtor to explain it to the people. No. Okay, now we get to see Bethenny's new apartment, and wow. Damn, girl. You got a lot of money. I'll show you guys some pictures. Bryn's room is adorable. There's this like stained glass. I don't know if it's just a wall hanging or if it's a window through to Bryn's room, but that's really cool. Yes, she's got a huge room that is her closet and all kinds of yummy stuff. Dorinda is come over to have a little tour, and they're having lunch. And Dorinda is telling her that she's still not feeling well. Yeah, we're talking about poop again. So at this point, I just expect to be talking about poop. You know, Bethenny, she prays for diarrhea every day. She said, I'm the one who wasn't sick. I could lick a toilet in a Mexican prison and I wouldn't be sick. Yeah, but just the thought of it makes me sick. Well, unfortunately, even though Dorinda claims to be going to therapy, she has not broken up with John Pedestrian. If a therapist isn't getting through to her, I feel as though there's no hope. Back at Sonja's, the woman came to see her townhouse and loved it, apparently. But this is the feedback the realtor's getting from everyone, is that there's some construction behind her apartment that is turning people off. And she said, I'm wondering if we should take a reduction. She's asking $32,000 a month. And the realtor says, I think if we put a 2 in front of it, that would be meaningful. I don't know what that means. 20 something, like $29,000 a month? Is that what she meant? Putting a 2 in front of it? I'm not sure. But Sonja does not want anything less than 32, because if they can't afford that, they shouldn't be looking. Grey Gardens does not come cheap, my friends. Okay, this next scene is Bethenny and Luann at this lip lab, which is a place where you make your own lipstick. This gets me. Bethenny says to Luann, I took you here because I want you to make your own lipstick. I want you to make a Countess Cabaret. And Luann's like, oh, that's fantastic. But isn't that exactly the kind of thing that back in the day Bethenny would have been making fun of? I mean, it kills me that now this is Bethenny's new friend. Bethenny would be the first person to be making fun of Countess Cabaret lipstick. Could you imagine if Carole took Luann to go do that? Oh my God, Bethenny would die. Oh, Luann knows that because Carole's out of the way, Bethenny and I are able to reconnect. So even Luann knows that she's like Bethenny's rebound girl, and she's okay with it. Well, this is just a bitch sesh from minute one, and nobody is leaving here unscathed because they go from Dorinda, Luann, I'll never forgive her for what she really thinks of me, and Bethenny, I don't think she thinks she needs to be forgiven at all, to Carole. Carole just wants a light friendship. You know, she's got that with Tinsley. I'm not a light person. Yeah. And then Ramona's remodel of her home. Everything's white. It's just all white. And she's got a slab on her kitchen counter that's this thick. It looks like a headstone. Man, nobody's getting out of this one. Next, we are in a restaurant having lunch with Carole and Dorinda. Carole's got a couple of her books in her hand. I'm not sure why. Ooh. Well, here's a little bit of juicy gossip. Dorinda asks Carole, so what are you up to? Are you dating anyone? Are you seeing that Brian guy? You know, red scarf. Carole said, I told you what Bethenny did, didn't I? Bethenny texted him and said, are you in Miami this weekend? And Dorinda goes, oh yeah, I thought she said she did that by accident. That was not an accident, right? And then Carole said, I mean, we texted a couple of times and she said, you know, I like hit a wall in Cartagena. And Carole said, yeah, I mean, I get it. I did too. Dorinda goes, I haven't seen her at all. I'm thinking, weren't you just at her house? And then she goes, oh no, wait, I did go to see her apartment. Yeah. And Carole goes, oh, that's funny because, you know, she's never asked me to come and see her apartment. And I kind of think that speaks volumes about where we are in our friendship. Okay, so now we are at a party for Carole and Cosmopolitan magazine for, I guess, the article she put in the magazine. I don't know. Carole and the editor decided to throw this party together, and Carole decided to make it athletic chic just because they go to a lot of parties and she thought she'd do something a little different. Never heard of it, but they've got really cute outfits on. In fact, I'm guessing that Carole had that cute outfit and then decided on the theme. Tinsley and Scott show up, and Tinsley is so cute. She's got a Columbia sweatshirt on, which is her alma mater, and she's got like a fur coat and then these cute little like track pants. Her hair's in pigtails and she just looks adorable. And then Adam shows up, and I feel like I've seen Adam look better. He looked a little rough to me. But he had like this big trophy for Carole. Oh, and then Carole's being very catty in her confessional, and she said, yeah, Adam's a great guy. I mean, we still love each other, and I don't let my relationships crash and burn like some people do. Okay, Carole, get over yourself. Carole and Adam sit down and they're having a kind of an awkward conversation. And then we go over to where Tinsley and Scott are talking, and Scott said, that trophy was cute, wasn't it? And Tinsley goes, yeah, that was so cute. And Scott said, he's been working on it for like 4 days. It wasn't that cute. Man, Heather is throwing Bethenny under the bus. Heather's now talking to Carole, and she said, oh, I just heard that you found your voice. Carole's like, well, you know, I guess. And she said, well, you know, sometimes maybe it needs to be a little bit more about Carole and less about, And then Carole said, well, I mean, you know, it's fine with Bethenny. It's just, it was a lot of Bethenny and not a lot of Carole. And then Heather said, yeah, I mean, sometimes people that are very self-absorbed don't realize it. Dorinda is in like an Adidas cat suit with thigh-high boots. She looks good, though. Somebody said to her, well, that was a bold move with the diarrhea, you know, being in a one-piece cat suit. And then to the confession cam, Tinsley goes, I'm sorry, nobody's talking about the upside of the diarrhea. You know, the Columbia cleanse. Although, to be honest, I had thought of it. Especially with, like, when Luann said she had it again, I was thinking, you can't afford to lose any more weight. Carole's talking to Adam again. Adam is Why did I not notice this before about him? He's just real weird on camera. It's either because he's awkward with Carole or he's just very awkward on camera. I don't know. But he said, oh, congratulations. It's quite an accomplishment. And then he said in the article, I think it's really going to inspire a lot of women. It's like he's saying the right thing, but the way he was saying it just seemed like the way a stranger would say it and not somebody that you've had a long, loving relationship with, you know? So then he says, so let's grab a coffee sometime and catch up. And she's like, now, you guys remember that coffee didn't always mean coffee. So she said, well, I don't drink coffee anymore, only tea. They kind of laughed, but I don't know. The next scene is Bethenny and Sonja, and Bethenny is taking Sonja to go see where the skinny girl jeans are made. Sonja loves skinny girl jeans. She's wearing them all the time, but to be fair, Bethenny has always given her free jeans. So I don't know that it's so much that Sonja loves skinny girl jeans or that Sonja loves free jeans. Oh, God. Okay, you guys. The next scene I had a lot of trepidation about because the first thing we see is we are outside the Madame Paulette building. I know who's inside, and already, like, my stomach is kind of churning. Dorinda goes in, and she's like, I'm here to see John. And whoever the guy was said, John, your wife's here. And he goes, did you say wife? Oh, I like that. And then he leans in for a kiss. I'm going to show you a picture, but it makes me sick. I have like a physical reaction to him on screen. So he's got lunch all set up for her in his creepy little back room. I mean, the lunch looked nice. It looked like a salad, and it was on regular plates and everything. But he said, oh, did I tell you I'm going to be on the Rachel Ray show? So I'm going to give everybody in the audience a Madame Paulette hat, a stain kit, and a gift card. Oh, I wish I was there. And then Dorinda goes, you don't have to give that much. And he goes, well, okay. Then I'll just give a Madame Paulette hat and a stain kit. And she's like, yeah, that's fine. Oh, my God. Okay, now it is the launch party for Ramona's skincare line, which now I see is called Ageless. See how easy that is to forget? Ageless by Ramona. Oh, wait a second. She's looking at the setup with the roses, and there's her bottles of her skin cream are there. And she picks up one of the bottles, and somebody said, oh, isn't this great? And she goes, it is. It's like giving birth. Wait a minute. Wasn't your Hamptons house remodel, wasn't that like giving birth? So everything now is like giving birth. Okay, so Carole and Dorinda are coming in. Luann Tinsley shows up. Tinsley's joking that she's got this new business idea. Tinsley's Travel for trips you will never forget. And they're laughing about that. And then Sonja arrives, and she's got a shopping bag over her shoulder, which I'm thinking, why is she coming to a party with a shopping bag? It seemed weird. But, oh, it's filled with her shoes from her new shoe line, French Sole. She has brought a pair of shoes for, I guess, each of the girls. And she's basically hawking her wares at Ramona's party because to the confession cam, Sonja said, the people who buy Ramona's skincare are also the people that would buy my shoes. She's probably not wrong, but that's a little tacky, you know? What is wrong with Luann's feet? She's sitting Luann down to actually put her shoes on Luann, and Luann takes off her own shoe, and her oh my God, her big toe is bright red. What is happening? I mean, how tight were her shoes? Oh, Ramona's not happy. Sonja said, Ramona, I've got your shoes. And Ramona goes, this is my party. This is supposed to be about me tonight. And she's like double fisting her creams. Oh, Sonja does not have shoes for Dorinda or Carole because the whole Morgan Crest situation. I mean, I guess I don't blame her. Now Sonja and Ramona are arguing about Bethenny. Ramona, of course, is anti-Bethenny, and Sonja is pro-Bethenny. Ramona says, I don't know what's going on with her. It's either anger or crying, anger or crying. Ramona said that, Bethenny always says she supports other women. If she did, she would have come to my launch party. But no, nothing, and didn't even say, I'm sorry I can't make it. Ramona heard nothing from her, period. Okay, I get it. Oh my God. Luann is talking to Carole, and Carole said, I'm looking forward to the cabaret. I can't wait. And Luann said, the beatboxer is great. He came from Hamilton. And Carole said, you guys had to rehearse that, huh? Luann looked at Sonja and said, yeah, we needed to rehearse. We rehearsed earlier today. And oh my God, we got to see part of the rehearsal. Sonja was a hot mess. She was so off, and then she was getting all flustered and knocking the music stand, and papers are going everywhere. Oh my God, you guys. I cannot wait for the cabaret. You can hear Ben, the director, say, I'm gonna kill myself. Dorinda apologizes again to Luann. She said, hey, listen, I'm so sorry for, the mishap we had, but I really am sorry. And Luann said, you don't have to apologize again. And then to the confession cam, Luann said, I don't need her to keep apologizing. I need her to show me she's different. I mean, if she won't stop drinking, I feel bad for people who can't cop to their bad behavior. Oh, I didn't mean to use the word cop, by the way. I can't even do that. And that's pretty much where this episode ends. Okay, so I said last week that I was going to read one of your questions on the air and talk about it at the end of the video. And this week I chose a question from Patty Cullinane. Hi, Patty. I'm not going to read the whole thing because, it was a little lengthy, but I'm just going to read part of it for you guys. Patty says, when Bethenny said that about never having this level of friendship break down like this, I immediately thought about her former friendship with Jill Zarin and was kind of stunned that she said this. Does this mean that she was even closer to Carole than Jill? And that her and Carole breaking up like this is even worse? And she goes into more details, but I'm just going to answer that part of the question because I found the whole friendship between Carole and Bethenny to be very interesting. Just my opinion, and no, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. Just my opinion from an observer's point of view. I think both of these women are smart and strong and driven and seriously flawed. I think their similarities are what drew them together in the first place. But I also think the things that were very similar about them is what eventually broke them apart. They've both come through trauma. And the way they deal with the trauma from their past is to be very guarded with their future relationships. So they always have a wall up and they're very cautious about letting somebody in. Bethenny let her wall down, let Carole in, and allowed herself to be vulnerable with Carole. And I think that with Carole, when somebody seems to need her too much, I think that scares the hell out of her. So Bethenny being vulnerable and maybe needing more from Carole is the exact thing that made Carole push away. The sad thing is that in the end, it's sort of proving to Bethenny, see, I should never get close to anybody because I just end up hurt. I feel bad about that aspect of it. And yes, I do think she was closer to Carole than she was to Jill. I think Bethenny's relationship with Jill was almost like a mother-daughter. Remember, when Bethenny first came on the show, she had no money. She was the single girl. All the other housewives were married and wealthy and settled. And Bethenny was like the single girl hustling to make a buck. She was a personal chef, had a boyfriend, but lived alone with her dog. And she was kind of the odd man out, but she was also really funny and snarky. And her confessionals were the thing that made me kind of fall in love with her, because all these ladies were just ridiculous and over the top. And then Bethenny would say something to the camera that made you feel like she was your girlfriend. You know, like, okay, this one gets it. Yeah, that's why I loved her so much. But I also think that Jill kind of took her in like a stray puppy. And yes, Bethenny was close to her, and Bethenny got very hurt by Jill. But that, in my opinion, that was a much, much different dynamic than she had with Carole. Carole was her equal. Carole she met after she was a millionaire. I think Carole felt like a real girlfriend, a real peer, and then became a confidant. And unfortunately, things started falling apart in Bethenny's personal life with Jason and the custody and everything, and she really was in a bad place and needed to lean on her best friend. And Carole couldn't take it. So anyway, to answer your question, Patty, I think this feels a lot worse to Bethenny, because I think she felt more of a kindred spirit with her than she did Jill. Okay, so Patty, thank you so much for the great question. I hope you guys like it. I'm gonna try it again next week. We'll see how it goes. So keep the great questions and comments coming. I love it. You guys crack me up. Some of you are like insanely funny. So yeah, I hope you like it, and I will randomly pick another question next week to read on the air. All right, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to Jill Informed if you haven't already, and please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. All right, I hope to see you next Wednesday for the next recap of The Real Housewives of New York City. Bye-bye.